Welcome in, everybody, to the PHNX Suns post-game show. I'm Lindsay. That's Gerald. That's Espo. And great news, guys.
What?
The curse is finally broken.
He did it!
The floodgates are
He
open!
did it! He did it!
Devin Booker finally made 7 threes in a regular season game, but he said, no, that wasn't enough. I can't just stop at 7. Let me just add one more on for good measure, finishing with 8 made threes for the first time in the regular season ever. Oh, and by the way, the Suns won too.
Great. That's all he's got. Let it ride.
Grayson looked at him and goes, 8? That's it? That's
That's
all you got?
all you got?
That's all you got? Come on, man.
Oh my gosh, the Suns take down the Pelicans 124-111 thanks to Devin Booker and his 52 points and his 8 made threes. I for sure, when he made the 8th one, because 7 was like the moment,
Yes.
right? It was like, stay calm, everybody, it's happening.
Yep.
And then when he made the 8th one, I was like, wouldn't it be so Devin-esque to just be like, screw it, I already broke my own record. Let's just go for the team record and make 10 of them.
It would have been, but no, I mean, this was a much needed win for the Suns. If you're talking about seeding, and now they own the tiebreaker over the Pelicans. They're only 1 game back of them. If you're talking about trying to get out of a play-in spot and get into that top 6, this was one that you absolutely needed to have, and they got it done. Got a little shaky for a minute there in the fourth quarter, but it's hard to dominate a game from start to finish, and Booker was phenomenal. This was the type of bounce-back game that we said on the pregame show he really needed. 8 of 16 from 3, pretty good when you had been shooting 28% from 3 over your last handful of games. So this is now the 3rd straight time he's dropped 50 on the Pelicans. Much-needed bounce-back win for him, for the Suns. And now we go into another scenario where, can you just do this again one more straight game? Can you do it more than just one night in a row?
You don't mean the 52 points. You just mean string a game
any
together?
of it, all of it. Do it again. Sure. Book can drop 50 again. That'd be great. But just sustain what we saw tonight in terms of the execution for most of the game into a second straight game. Because if you don't play around with your food, you have a chance to actually make up some ground if you just continue to play this way.
Yeah, unfortunately, you've put yourself in a position where you have to scoreboard watch too.
Yes.
Right, and you can make up ground. You got the Pelicans again on Sunday. You can make up another game there, but you can't afford to lose one of the next 2 going into that, and then watch them rattle off a few. Like there's very little margin for error. The first 2.5, 3 quarters of this game gave me confidence that they can be that. The fourth quarter reminded me of why we've been on the roller coaster all year and why I don't want to give my full heart again. It was, I think Eric said it. It was the old, Godfather thing. Right when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, and those first 3 quarters did it, because I was. After that OKC game, I was like, if you come out and lay another dud, I think we're at the point where we can go, all right, this has been fun for what it was, but I'm not going to have great hope. 3 quarters today, and I go, maybe?
Well,
is this the group?
See, I get how you're feeling, and I was talking to Gerald about this when we were watching the game too. It was like, as much as I would like to just completely buy in, hop on the roller coaster and ride that baby off into the sunset, I don't want to. Like, and I know that sounds really bad coming off of a big win, a 50-piece from Book, like 8 made threes. Like, I get it. But I still feel like I have to maintain a sense of, like, reservation with this team. I don't want to go too high just right now.
Yeah.
Because we did see, like the third quarter, there were moments where it was like, get a little concerned here. The fourth quarter, tied 21-21 in that final frame. Like, there's still moments that make you go, a little sus.
You got to guard your heart, Linz.
I know.
You got to protect yourself from this team. But no, like this was, again, we've waffled back and forth between fantastic wins and horrendous losses for the last week. If you go from the Spurs game to the Nuggets win to the Thunder loss by 25 without SGA to this game now, I don't know how much stock you put in any of it. It really just speaks to whether you're a pessimist or an optimist at heart, I think. I am still skeptical because we have not seen them put together even 2 games in a row of this type of effort. The consistency is still there, and you need that in the playoffs to be able to perform at peak levels. And I do think the Suns match up well with this Pelicans team. This is the second straight game where, yes, Zion got to 30 in the end, but for most of the game, they held him in check. They were really sound in their defensive execution. I think they've got a good game plan for him. So this is a matchup that I like. Now I want to see them do that against teams that maybe they don't match up as well against.
Well, and you always knew that New Orleans at some point in this game was going to go on a run because Zion hadn't had that moment. They hadn't taken advantage of his size versus smaller defenders. So you knew at one point it was going to happen. Now, would you have preferred it not to happen in that fourth the way it did? Yeah, but I mean, the refs also bailed Zion out a handful of times where he drops his shoulder into Bradley Beal couple times. And there's nothing a defender can do in that. They're defenseless in that, and he extends and got the call. But, New Orleans made their run. The Suns withstood it. They win by 13. And, yeah, would you have loved to watch them win by 23, 25? Yeah, but that's just not the way today's NBA works. I mean, we saw the Suns come back down 22 with 8 minutes to go, right? That's just – any lead is not safe in this league. So the fact that they sustained it and wound up pushing it back to 13 was important.
Yeah, and I think more so than just the runs of the game, the highs and lows of the game, it was a good process game for Devin Booker. You can look at the obvious fact that he scored 52 points, but he also had the 9 assists. The fact that he did it by taking a lot of threes, shaking off what had been a really tough stretch for him, shooting the 3 ball, and it didn't feel like he was forcing. There have been times like the 36 points that he dropped on San Antonio where it felt like he had tunnel vision and he was forcing the issue, and his buckets weren't really helping the team, if that makes sense. It's a weird sense thing, but this game, it felt different. It felt like the run that he was on was genuinely demoralizing the Pelicans. It felt like something that was sustainable, and he did sustain it throughout the game for the most part. And it felt like he had a good balance of, I'm on the ball, I'm in attack mode, but I'm also, when they're cutting me off or when they're double teaming me, I'm getting off the ball, I'm hitting guys, I'm making the right play. I know people have been hard on Point Book over the last few months, especially, but this is a good example of why the ball still needs to be in his hands. You need to find a right balance between him and Beal operating as point guard, but games like this are exactly why, because when he's the point guard, he is a scoring guard still, and you need to empower him in that way.
Well, and he set the tone early. I don't know if you guys remember the numbers. I can't off the top of my head, but in that first quarter, he had 24 points and 4 assists, and at a certain point in time, there was a certain point in time in that first quarter where he was a part of like 70% or something like that of every point scored for the Suns, which is like he's making the right play even when it doesn't, quote unquote, benefit him from a points perspective.
Yeah.
Well, and so setting that tone that early, I think, really helped for the rest of the game, knowing that I'm not doing this just to get mine. We're all in this together. And we even saw that from, KD's 20. We got Nurk and his 19. Like the wealth was shared.
Well, and he led the game in points and assists. He was the leader in both those categories. I find it hard. We had some people in the watch along kind of saying, well, he's stagnating the offense. I'm like, it's tough to believe that when he's also moving the ball efficiently. But what I loved was this was old school Book. He sensed when this team needed him in that fourth and got to the bucket and got layups on his aggressiveness. And that was what we've seen in the past from him that I really liked. And I know 52 a night, that's not going to happen. But I think the recipe is him and KD doing their thing, and Brad accepting the role of the guy that can score a little bit, has the assists, can do some stuff on the boards, and plays hard on defense, right? I think that's the recipe for success. It's not these guys each scoring 25, 30 points, all three of them. I think you got to have this kind of effort and Nurk being involved in the game, and you win. I mean, they did it with basically next to nothing from the bench, too, which is important.
Yeah, I think people have been hard on Beal, and I think a lot of it stems from the fact that he's been injured and out for a lot of the year, but he's had to adjust more than any member of the big three, and possibly anybody on this team in terms of his role. Like, there was just a stretch a couple of weeks ago where Book was out, where he was the point guard, where he was doing what Book was doing tonight, not the scoring, obviously, but the getting downhill, the setting other people up, the handling the ball almost exclusively. Like, and then you go to a night like tonight where Book has it cooking and he is not featured prominently in the offense in that same way. He still finishes with 13, 9, and 6, as well as 2 steals, played great defense for most of the night on Zion, which is an incredible defensive assignment for him to take, and something he's been doing a lot more over the last few weeks. So I know that the raw numbers are not going to look great for Bradley Beal, especially not when you consider he's the third member of a big three. You want to see that guy dropping 20 and 7 or something like that. But he did the dirty work for the Suns tonight, and he did a lot of things that aren't going to show up on the stat sheet. So kudos for him for being able to adjust.
Well, and also when you have one member of your big three going off for 52 points, you don't really have to worry about knocking down buckets as much. You can do the dirty work. That can be your main focal point for the night, because Book's got you covered on the point side of things.
The big three combined for 85 points.
Like, that's not bad.
Any given night, you'd be like, yeah, I'd sign up for that. That'd be all right.
Exactly.
Like, but
if you split that up evenly, that's close to about 25 to 30-ish for each of them. So we're good.
See, we're good.
We've talked about gravity a lot, though, right?
Yeah.
And tonight, I think Book used that to his advantage. At times, he knew that they were going to come at him. He found his teammates. He had a great pass down low at one point to Nurk, I think it was, because 2 guys came on him. He knew Nurk was going to be the open guy, and he just made the right play. At times, I think he even found, in particular in that first half, KD a few times with that. You feel a little bit better when you see it, but again, it's like, is it fool's gold?
Yes.
Because you look at Wednesday and you go Cleveland, and you go,
should win that.
That's the kind of game that we've seen them fall flat on their face in, like, don't do that. And maybe we can start feeling a little bit better each little step. But right now, take the game for what it was. They took care of business. It was a fairly complete game, with the exception of a little bit of a backslide and for part of the fourth. But overall, Devin Booker did his job and got them exactly what they needed tonight.
So I think what we have decided and what we've learned is that in this last final few games, what Frank Vogel needs to do is tell us pregame that he had kind of a come to Jesus moment with the team ahead of the game, that they're all locked in and they're ready to go. And he knows that they've come prepared, because both times he said that to us pregame, we've had really good wins. Yeah. The one time he didn't say that, we lost.
So rip them a new one even when they win.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Frank, we figured it out. We have the key to success for you on a silver platter.
We just need you to say that before every game, man. The guys are locked in.
It's like you're offering to Basketball Cthulhu. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
I don't want it just... I want him to walk in the locker room, flip a table, and go, not good enough! I want it like, what is that, Whiplash, where J.K. Simmons is just like, not my tempo. Yeah. Like, it just goes out. I want Frank Vogel to turn into that for the last 7 games here. Not satisfied with anything, all right?
There you go. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and hand out our big, bright, shiny star. No surprise here.
Big, bright, shining star.
This one goes to Devin Booker for his 52-piece, 9 assists, 8 of 16 from deep. Devin Booker is our big, bright, shiny star. And we got a really cool little nugget. Gerald, off the top of the show, you mentioned that Book has scored 50 or more against the Pelicans now in 3 consecutive games. Well, the Suns had tweeted out that with that 50 plus for his third straight game against the Pelicans, he now joins Wilt Chamberlain as the only players in NBA history with 50 plus points in 3 straight against an opponent. And that's from Elias Sports. So pretty impressive company.
Just selfish. That son of a bitch.
Stagnant offense.
So I will say, we were talking about this during the game, Gerald and I, and I've seen a couple people in the chat bring it up. Like, this would be a great series for the Suns in the playoffs.
Yes,
this would be fun for us, and it would be great for the Suns.
Unfortunately,
knock on wood, touch metal.
Not likely.
Well, this would be if you're getting past the first round and the Pelicans are waiting for you. But this is a great matchup for the Suns because Nurk can stay on the floor against Valanciunas. These are two very similar builds, similar lack of foot speed, similar defensive flaws, and I think Nurk would actually have the advantage in that matchup. Also, Devin Booker does not give a damn about any of the defenders that the Pelicans have. No. Like, Herb Jones is one of the best defenders in the NBA, and for whatever reason, he does not bother Book. Dyson Daniels, he's a great young defender, does not bother Book. Jose Alvarado is a guy that can bother guys, but again, 3 straight 50-point games, and Alvarado was definitely there for at least one of them. Doesn't bother Book. Like, this is a good matchup for Devin Booker. I think Brandon Ingram makes things more interesting when he's out on the floor for KD and whatnot, but this is a team that you can match up well with, especially with the way they've been able to game plan for Zion. So I like this matchup, and hopefully they're able to steal the next one as well and really close that distance.
It's not insane to think this could be the 7-8 matchup, though. There is a world where that could happen.
I feel like the Pelicans have been on a pretty good run, though, even with Brandon Ingram out. Like, they're still in 6th. They're still a game ahead of Phoenix. They're a game and a half ahead of Sacramento after tonight, and they're only half a game behind Dallas for 5. So there's still a lot that has to happen, but they do have a tough closing schedule for sure.
I mean, any of those 5 teams can be jumbled up the rest of the way. I mean, even the Clippers aren't out of necessarily a chance to fall into that mix too. So this is probably one of the weirder playoff runs we've ever seen.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting, and hopefully we have a nice little redo of tonight's game next Sunday. And if you guys want to come hang out with us and watch that game, we're having a watch party out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Wild Horse Pass. It's going to be an absolute blast. We're also going to have one on Friday as well. So both Friday, April 5th and Sunday, April 7th out at Wild Horse Pass. It's going to be a good time. There's going to be great food, delicious drinks, and the collection by my Bibby will also be on display as well. So plan to come hang out with us for 1 or 2 of those watch parties, because why not? What else you got to do this weekend? There's nothing else going on, right? Not a single thing?
Not a single thing.
Not in my life. I'm a ride or die with this stuff. So
you can get all your information at gophnx.com. Just click on the events tab. It was also a really good night for the PHNX Suns crew as far as the BetMGM Sportsbook app goes, except for one of us.
Damn,
and it wasn't me.
That was tough.
And it wasn't Espo.
It's tough.
And surprisingly, it wasn't Flex either.
It wasn't.
Saul was the only one who took an L tonight, which means Saul is in the negative. But Espo, Espo got a big win tonight. He took Book plus 40 points in this one at a what? Plus 1,200?
Yep.
So Espo is now up to $523.
Look at that.
Hey, listen, I took a W as well. I took Book for the first Suns field goal. So now I'm at $84. So
she really just flexed for being at $84.
Bro,
there.
Look at this.
I mean, she's in second place.
I'm in second place.
She's in the positives.
I am.
Which
I could lose every single moment, every single game from here until the end of the season, and I would still be in the positive.
She could. She did the math.
I officially am in the positive, you guys.
I could lose every single bet from now until the middle of next season. I wouldn't be in the negative.
It's not about you.
Yes. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you.
Speak for the people, Gerald.
Saul has minus $1 and Flex is minus $192. Even though he got a win tonight.
Gerald, are you new to the show? It's always about me.
That's a fair point.
Always.
If you guys want to get in on the action, make sure you sign up for the BetMGM Sportsbook app using the the bonus code PHNX. When you use that bonus code, all you got to do is place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app of at least $10, and you will receive $1,500, up to $1,500 in bonus bets if that bet loses. You can check out the show notes for full details, and now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY, 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Get stuffed, Ontario. And Puerto Rico, don't worry. Flex did you all right. Gerald, I like to joke around a lot on the show, all right?
Yeah.
Not Gerald turning his back to Espo before the ad read.
That doesn't stop me, Gerald.
Yeah.
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
and I like to joke around a lot. But
do.
One thing I don't take lightly,
What's that?
the health of my balls, all right?
Oh, that's good.
And
And everyone else?
and everyone else. I am
You should
concerned.
care about
I
all
do.
of them if
I
you're
care
going to
about-
care about them at all.
I
I'd
care
kind of
about-
rather he wouldn't care.
I care about all manhood, right?
That's
And
nice.
this is serious. Though. I'm not trying to be crude or crass.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I am a little bit.
A little bit.
But this episode is brought to you by Manscaped. And did you know one man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? In fact, testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer among men aged 15 to 35. With April being National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, our friends over at Manscaped have partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to help spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection. Visit manscaped.com/TCS to learn how to check yourself for early signs of cancer. And as always, you can use that promo code PHNX20 for 20% off and free shipping at Manscaped. And I highly recommend that you get the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, right? Because you can shave, but you also need to check to make sure everything's all right down there. You're not going to get any nicks, cuts, or anything like that with a shaver. It's got a light, so you can check out things, make sure everything's all right. And you know what? You don't have to make a mess. It's waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. So you're not going to get yelled at for, spreading your hair everywhere in the bathroom, which is good because you're married now and you don't want to
true.
get in trouble for that
I'm
kind
married
of
now.
stuff. So in addition to providing the right tools and solutions for comfort and easy grooming, Manscaped, again, is committed to raising awareness and giving support for fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer. That is why they'll be donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society. Help save lives and balls, which is important, by going to manscaped.com/TCS and sharing their funny, educational, check yourself video. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm guessing it's probably spot
good.
on. And while you're at it, grab 20% off and free shipping with that promo code PHNX20, because like a famous American philosopher once said, quote, take care of your mentals, your balls, and your chickens.
My chickens?
Your chickens.
Wait, what?
Chicken is a euphemism for something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to know. I changed my mind. I was about to say I need more information. but now I changed
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
my
All
mind.
right.
There you go.
Ay, Lord of mercy. All right, let's take a look at what's inside the box. Presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes.
What's in the box?
Well, what's in the box is a 124-111 win for the Suns. They actually did a nice job of cutting down on turnovers for the most part. That first quarter, I think they had 0. And from then on, they finished with 14, which not terrible, not great. Pelicans only had 9. They did tie the Pelicans in assists, 29, so they were just one shy of that magical marker. When they get to 30, I believe they are 20-3 on the season. 3-pointers is the big one that stands out. 18 of 47 attempts
buddy.
for the Suns in the modern NBA. That's what I'm talking about. Pelicans with only 27 attempts. They were running that old Monty Willie Green style offense there. 27 attempts. They only shot they did shoot 41% from 3, but the Suns outmatched them by taking 20 more attempts. And then guys who had 7 or more threes in the game. The Pelicans didn't have a single one, but the Suns had one.
Heyo.
1-0.
That's the big difference right there.
That's a big one.
Devin Booker doubled the Pelicans' highest mark. Troy Murphy had 4. Book had 8.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's easier to get to 47 when Book shoots 16 of them. So,
Yes, that's great.
They also won the rebounding battle by 12. Like they did the little things well in most cases tonight. They still gave up 2 more shots than they took tonight, which is crazy when you look at that 3-point number that they still managed to do that. But overall, the numbers jive. We said shoot more threes, make more threes than your opponent, and you're gonna have a good night, and they did.
It is. They have now improved to 28-7 when they beat or tie their opponent in made 3-pointers. So there you go. Like, it doesn't even have to be you out attempt them, because I think the Suns actually have a better record this season when their opponent attempts more threes than they do, but it's about how many you make, and this is a really good 3-point shooting team. So you just have to attempt enough to put yourself in that range, and that's what we saw tonight. Even though they took 2 fewer shots, they got up way more threes, and 3 is worth more than 2. Do the math.
Also, on the turnover side of things, majority of their turnovers came in that third quarter. They didn't have a single one in the first quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, they only had 2. And they only had 3 in the second quarter. So, I'm sorry, 5 in the second quarter. So majority of them came in that third quarter, which meant at least for 3 of the 4, they did a pretty good job of taking care of the ball.
Yeah.
You just got to clean up that third quarter and we would have been okay.
And that was the only quarter that they lost. Go figure.
Exactly.
And the only one that felt extremely egregious was that pass that Bradley Beal threw 4 rows into the stands.
How do you overthrow a 7'5" dude?
I'm like, I don't care how tall Bull is, what his arms are sticking straight up. Nobody's getting that pass.
Then did you see him? He was like, just jump. Jump.
Just do me a favor here.
He's hilarious, man.
Oh.
I mean, if there was anybody who had a chance to go up and get it, it would have been Bull, but, it was a tall task.
If there were 2 bulls standing there.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
How you gonna, Gerald?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I'm trying.
It sunk in late. I'm sorry.
Gosh.
I'm sorry. I know that was an olive branch and I just dropped it on the
ground.
I apologize. I'll be better next time.
I don't know if I care anymore.
Is there something going on? You guys have to have an olive branch? Is there beef?
No,
yeah,
it's just the puns.
I always give him crap.
Well, yeah, his puns suck sometimes.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
really don't.
We brought up Bull.
And coming from you, that means a lot.
Great one, and he just ignored it. He just let me flop over here.
I'm sorry.
I'm just like,
I'll be better next time.
Jeez. There probably won't be another one, Gerald.
Well,
I don't have those in my back pocket like you do just to hand out willy-nilly.
Maybe some.
I'm not the
willy-nilly. You've got colloquialisms from the early 1900s at your disposal, but not puns. All right.
That leads me to believe there'll be another.
Old words are great, though.
Old words?
Yeah, come on. There's so many that we don't use anymore that we should definitely start using. You know I love kerfuffle.
You do. And shenanigans.
In shenanigans.
What's this malarkey?
Anyway, back to Suns basketball. We do have a couple super chats here. Some guy named Justin sent us one and they said, from now on, that's how you drive. Book finally broke 6 threes.
Yeah.
He did.
Thank goodness.
That seemed very sarcastic.
No, I just...
Are you just out of
yay.
these? Have you talked too much today?
Okay, I've been on a mic since 4:30. That is 3.5 hours. I will hit the 4-hour mark before the show is over.
Well, wake up. We're still going.
Yay!
There you go. That was better.
That was good.
It started better.
It turned into a yodel midway through, but we like the energy.
Psycho Blue sent us one. Thank you, Psycho Blue. They said, Basketball Cthulhu thanks me comparing Book to late Cleveland Baker. Lit a fire under his butt. Nurk looked the best he's had in weeks. Beal with a dagger. KD, though.
Yeah, I mean, Nurk was great tonight. He had the 19 and 19, 4 assists, 5 of 11 shooting. He was 8 for 11 at the free throw line, which is encouraging because he had been struggling there a little bit lately. KD just had an off night, and that happens, and I think that's okay. He was good early in the game to help them build the lead, and then he just missed shots sporadically throughout the rest of the way.
Well,
Okay, but he still contributed 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals.
Yep.
And he was the only one that showed up on Friday. So
Yep. We can't play this game because we'd be picking
we would
apart
literally
somebody
be
new
every
game.
other night. It would be, let's yell at this person who's part of the big three, and then let's yell at this one, and then let's yell at that one. And That's toxic.
Well, that's been the whole season.
I know.
So
we need to stop it.
Hey,
they won.
The buck has to stop
if we're
somewhere.
going to ask the Suns to clean up their bad habits, well, then we should ask ourselves to also clean up our bad habits to close the season,
The
okay?
Suns' big three combined for 85 points. That's all I care about.
There you go.
Facts. Abraham sent us a super chat. Thank you, Abraham. They said, oh.
Eubanks was terrible. He was -6, the only minus.
Oh, poor Drew.
I don't know why I think Abraham sounds like that, but
Yeah, that's not nice.
Well, Drew's been taking a lot of L's lately from Suns fans. He finished tonight with 4 points, 1 assist, 2 rebounds. He had a block.
I didn't think he was that bad. I didn't think he was great. Obviously, he got stripped on that one ambitious running hook that he tried to take through the lane when the help came over, and I think KD was open near the top of the key or on the wing. But I didn't really notice him, and I feel like this might be rude, but you can tolerate those games. It's where you really notice Drew when you're not like actively looking for, okay, what is he going to do? Those are the ones that hurt you. And as long as he's not that, you can live with that.
I'm pretty sure he blocked Zion too. So, we know what he is. He is what he is. As long as it's not egregious mistakes, I'm okay.
I still want to see Thad, but
I think that's a lot of people's. Okay, so I think a lot of people have already had an issue with Drew Eubanks throughout the season. And then when we got the taste of Thad Young in the one game because of injuries and what he was able to do in that game, it made everybody just desperate for more. We want to know, can this guy be a replacement for Drew? Can this guy be better in that spot? And since we haven't been able to get it, it makes us dislike Drew more, I think, when that's not Drew's fault.
Don't worry. 17 more days till he's available again.
Come on.
That 20-day off schedule that he's on, all right?
I do have a question. Do you think that the ire towards Drew Eubanks would be as intense if it wasn't for the fact that we lost a second-round pick tampering for him? Like, do you think that has enhanced it a little bit just because you can always make the joke, this is the guy that we tampered for, yada, yada?
With a certain faction that's nerdy enough to know that they got hit with tampering.
I feel like most people on Twitter keep bringing that up.
You want to know?
Because it's one of those easy jokes that's like, it hits every time, too.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you think if we didn't have that joke, the angst over him would not be as
I think they
intense?
would still feel it. Maybe they wouldn't say it as much.
Yeah.
I think it might be as well, too, because you got accustomed to Jock coming in last year and doing enough where you felt good about a backup center position, right?
Did we?
In a lot of cases, yeah. I mean, and he and KD, we talked about the chemistry he and KD had down the stretch.
That was mostly.
They had good chemistry, but like it felt like it was waffling between Busy and Jock for most of the year.
Okay. I'll say this. You had 2 options that you felt okay about on any given night, right? Whether it was Busy or Jock, you felt like you had somebody you could turn to and it felt competent. Is that a fair assessment where at times it has not felt like that with Drew? And then you add on top the easy joke about losing a second-round pick for this guy. Like, I mean, if you look at it as most second-round picks play like him, I mean, it's not an awful way to look at it.
Yeah.
I would also see that with Busy and Jock too. So like, it's kind of hard to hate Busy. Like, he's such a good dude. You know what I mean? And then Jock being here with us as an ambassador for PHNX, like we got to know and love him as his sense of humor, his personality. Like we got more of Jock the person, where we don't have that at all with Drew Eubanks. So you kind of. It doesn't matter who he is as a person. It's just strictly how you feel about his basketball. And so there's a little bit of nuance there.
So what you're saying is Drew needs to donate his veteran minimum to build a hospital somewhere?
Jesus.
And we'll be all right with him?
It's not just that. Busy was also a good dude in other areas of his life. And that's not saying Drew isn't. It's just we all knew that about Busy.
Yeah.
We got told those stories. And Drew's only been around for a few months, so we haven't had the ability to really get to know him like that.
Didn't we get the most badass story you could ever hear about a guy?
That was pretty badass.
He got sucker punched and didn't move.
That's true.
They called it a weak punch.
Yeah.
And I'll say this about Busy and Jock as well, is that because they kind of provided different things to the game, depending on what the matchup needed, you had a guy who kind of fit it.
Yeah.
Eubanks is in no matter what. So if it's a bad matchup or he's not having a good night, you don't have that other option that Vogel's at least willing to play.
Yeah, that is tough. I didn't think Drew was that bad tonight. I didn't think he was good. I didn't notice him in either direction for the most part, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Next super chat is from Tim. Thank you, Tim. They said, Espo, the Facebook Investigative Task Force can confirm that Fizdale's glasses are broken.
Okay. I have so many questions.
What is
so
the
many
Facebook
levels.
Investigative Task Force?
That's my first question.
Who is on that?
How did you find David Fizdale's Facebook page? How did you then determine his glasses are broken?
No. They created a Facebook page. No, yes, that's what it is.
No, what? No.
No,
It's the
this
task
reads is that
force.
they investigated and they found out
They
that
can
Fizdale's
confirm.
glasses are broken.
Yes. So they Facebook stalked somehow.
Fizdale would have
I have
a
more
Facebook,
questions
I
about her
suppose.
thing now.
They started a Facebook page where everyone can drop the tips and the hotline and all that stuff, and then you put your minds together and you come up with this theory, and then you put it into practice, and then you determine if it's true or not.
It says can't confirm.
Yeah.
Can confirm
so
we
they
opened up a
confirmed
page.
it.
So this started
I
with
will.
Fizdale's glasses on this road trip have looked like this. They've been crooked the entire time, and it was driving me nuts. I wanted to know, does he have, I never noticed it before, so does he have uneven ears and we just didn't notice, or did his glasses break? I just simply want to know that. You have to ask next time they're back.
If I asked half the shit that you guys want me to ask, I wouldn't be credentialed anymore.
But the show would be so fun.
I'm just gonna call Cole up and go, I need to come to practice to ask one question and one question only.
Yeah, well, if we ever talk to David Fizdale,
No, I'll ask
I'll
you.
get the
ask Frank.
How about
up-close
this,
picture.
Gerald?
ask
You don't
Frank.
have to ask. Just sneak some pictures of the side of his glasses.
You know what?
We don't ever get close enough to this man.
Well, then get a bigger lens.
You know what? I'm gonna live on this show text Cole
Don't even.
and ask him.
Oh
Cole's
my
gonna be
God.
like, "What is your problem?"
say-
I was
I'm
like,
gonna
I'm
say-
on a plane. I can't talk
I'm
right
gonna say
now.
Gerald asked me to ask you this.
God.
His phone's dead.
Well, at least we have the video evidence that did not happen.
Oh my goodness. All right, next up, Buddha the Schizo sent us one and said, "Y'all missed my 10th super chat." So here's another super chat. Sorry,
Thank you, Buddha.
I didn't mean
I'm
to.
sorry your book ones didn't fit.
What?
I apologize. He told us that during the watch along.
Oh, the book ones
His
didn't
books
fit.
book ones came in and they didn't fit. I'm sorry, man.
What size did he get?
Maybe the
I
sequel will
asked
be
if they were
better.
my size and they weren't. So
Oh, that's a bummer. Well,
I'll stick with my popsicle shoes.
listen, I
Thank
can
you.
tell you that on the positive side of things is they're very sellable. So
That's
you
true.
could always
Yeah.
put them up somewhere
You're
on a
about to
resale
make some
site,
money.
and you can definitely get your money back for them, and maybe some on top of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a lose-lose situation here.
Yeah.
The
We're
ones
dealing
dropped
with.
Friday, and I think I'm finally gonna
The Havens.
dive into them. The Havens,
the black
yes,
ones?
the black ones.
Yeah, those are
Mhm.
nice.
That's exciting. All right, Kev sent us two of them. Kev, the first one says, "We need more pick and rolls over iso ball," and then the second one said, "Thad plays close to Nurk's style, so he should be the backup before Drew."
I think it depends on matchup for me. Like, I definitely want to see more Thad Young, especially over these last handful of games. I don't think that's going to happen. But in terms of the passing, being an offensive connector, yes, he does have a lot of the same skills that Nurk brings to the table, and it would allow them to play a little bit more with some more uniformity between the starters and the bench groups. But you do also need some size out there, because once Nurk goes to the bench, like, your rebounding could take a hit. And I know Thad has rebounded really well in the games where he's gotten extended minutes, but you will be at a size disadvantage with him out there, and you will miss something in the rim protection department, because Drew Eubanks is a better shot blocker and he's a better finisher around the rim. So you are giving some things up. So I understand why, depending on matchup, it might be Eubanks night, but there's got to be some room for Thad to get some run, and that's what's frustrating.
Mhm.
Secret weapon playoff.
That's what we're hoping. We're clinging to that.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that's our secret weapon. And if that does happen, make sure you guys have 4 peaks on hand so that you can cheers to our secret weapon being finally unleashed in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's just super drinkable. I mean, let's be honest, their brand new beer this year, the Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale, a collab between 4 Peaks and Bad Birdie, is the most drinkable and the perfect companion at the tee box or in your fridge. Gerald, how was your Four Peaks shenanigans this week that I planned you on Friday night?
They were great. They were very drinkable.
Did you do all of it?
Yes, the rave and everything, the drinkable beers that were liquid.
Yes, and the chicken tendies.
You turn your back to me and you play along with the rave, really?
Her questions are not about my manhood.
I don't make Gerald feel uncomfortable when I ask him questions about an advertisement.
4 Peaks.
An
really good beer, right, Lindsay?
You thought you were going to get away with that shit.
See, old words, they're the best, aren't they? The absolute best, just like our friends over at Four Peaks. You can visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. You can also check them out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and we ask that you please drink responsibly. But also, just another reminder, if you have not been out to their brewery in Tempe lately, you should absolutely stop by because it's top-notch vibes.
Fun time, great food as well. Gerald, what's your favorite band?
My favorite band is Switchfoot.
Switchfoot. You ever have trouble getting tickets to a Switchfoot concert?
I have not.
No? Well, I've had trouble. Thank you for helping me out.
No.
So much. Well, I have,
Shut
Gerald.
it down.
You asked me questions.
I have, Gerald. I've had trouble getting tickets to some of my favorite bands.
Have you?
Yeah, because they're popular, unlike yours, so it's tough to get tickets sometimes.
I mean, if you want to listen to the mainstream garbage, you can go ahead. Taylor Swift fan, that doesn't offend me very much.
Oh, no.
But no, look, sometimes it's very difficult to find good tickets at an affordable price, especially last minute. Our friends at Game Time have you covered. I've used it multiple times, sporting events, concerts. I've talked about the Kelly Clarkson concert I took my wife to using Game Time out there in Las Vegas. It was a lifesaver for my anniversary last year, my wife's birthday, one of the big events. They were a lifesaver with it. And now if you're a baseball fan, they can save your backside too, because Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. So you're not having to go out and deal with some scalper trying to gouge you for tickets while you're trying to get it. No, none of that illegal BS. You can get tickets easy, last minute killer deals, all in prices, and view your seats at the lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying baseball tickets. It's just that simple. So take the guesswork out of buying your tickets. Use Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. And sometimes that covers the entire cost that you're looking at, just that $20. So download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Little New Orleans flair for you.
Oh, fancy. All right, one last thing from the chat, and then we'll move on. Aaron, the Phoenix Rising, sent us a note in the chat and said, I'm here, win or lose, kind of new to the channel. Well, Aaron, thank you for being here. We're glad that you found us and that you've stuck around. All of you guys, thank you for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Give us a like. It's absolutely free, and we do very much so appreciate it. All right, gentlemen, what from tonight's game, outside of just Book scoring 50 points, would you like to see roll over into Wednesday's game?
It's not even about the 50 for me. It's Book's balance between scoring and playmaking. I want to see that continue. I want to see 40 plus threes more often. That's always good when we get to see that. Other than that, just game-to-game consistency, like we've been saying. Like, I want to see them locked in and engaged. You saw KD, I think in the first quarter, there was that turnaround jumper, the and one that he hit, and he had some emotion. Like, he shouted out. He like gave Booker a high five. Like, he was into it, and you could feel it. And we don't often feel that from him, from Book, from the rest of the team in general. Like, it's a top-to-bottom type thing, and I want to see that carry over into a game that's not as, dramatic of a matchup, that's not as critical for the seeding. It's a Cavs team that's been banged up, that hasn't been playing very well, that they don't have a rivalry with in any way, shape, or form. Like, carry it into that game. Care about that game. Like, take that one seriously and just put them in a 20-point hole and don't look back and string together some wins here. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see Booker's swagger carry over. right? It's been a while since we've seen that Devin Booker. And tonight he was that Devin Booker. And frankly, they're going to have no chance unless you have that Devin Booker.
Yeah.
I don't care what KD does, or what other guys do. Without Devin Booker like that, without Kevin Durant also, having good games, you're going nowhere. And I still think that the path might be reverting to kind of what you saw last playoffs, where it was Book and KD carrying the load with other guys, kind of playing their part. So
I think for me, it would probably be, in addition to what you guys are saying, of course, I like Nurk tonight. And I know he's been taking a few L's on the old Twitter as of late as well. He's playing through a little bit of injuries. I mean, he said this weekend, I think, to Dwayne Rankin that he knew he wasn't going to be, quote unquote, fully 100% for a few days or weeks. So he's been playing through the injury. He had a double-double tonight, 19 points, 19 rebounds, absolutely insane. 4 assists as well, and 2 blocks and a steal.
Mm-hmm. And got smacked in the face.
Yeah. Well,
it's been 0 days since our last Nurk getting
just
smacked
a given
in the
that
face.
you can turn on any game and know that Nurk got smacked in the face.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to clean things up a little bit with Nurk. Maybe not miss so many of those easy layups and those easy buckets that are basically freebies, but it happens from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I thought it was a pretty decent game from Nurk in this one, too.
Yeah.
Well, and also defensive aggressions. I thought they were... Well, they had their lapses like any night. I thought they were aggressive defensively. A lot of credit goes to Bradley Beal, like we talked about, Grayson Allen, guys who were severely outmatched going up against Zion, but working their asses off.
Yeah.
And that's all I ask for on the defensive end is show that you're putting in the heart, you're putting in the effort, and I can accept some mistakes. It's when you're not putting in that effort that it's frustrating. Tonight they were locked in, and I liked that as well.
Yeah, they defensively, they really only had that 1/3 quarter that was like bad. Like they held them to 28, 26, 36, and then 21. And despite the fact that I think they missed like 10 or 11 shots in a row in that 4th quarter, their defense was holding things down. And that was with the fact that, like you mentioned, Zion was getting a lot of foul calls and getting to the free throw line quite a bit there. So other than the fouling thing in that 4th quarter, I thought their defense was pretty good tonight. And like I said, they match up really well with this team from a personnel and from a game plan standpoint.
All right, Travis L. sent us a super chat. They said, if we can't win the chip, would you rather bounce the Mavs out early in the playoffs or go 4-0 against the Nuggets again? P.S. I hit all my $5 parlays tonight, LFG.
Well, congratulations,
yes,
Travis.
You're part of the Winners Club with me and Espo.
And Flex.
And Flex, yep. I just wasn't including him because it wasn't here.
Almost everybody.
It's
almost everybody.
Sorry, Saul.
It's 4-0 against the Nuggets.
4-0 against the Nuggets.
You think?
Yes, 100%. Because 100%.
So
you beat the defending champs, you sweep them. That at least gives you something to build on going into next year by saying, okay, we did that. Maybe it didn't end the way we wanted, but that was something to hang our hat on. And we got to stick it to Denver in the process, who knocked us out last year. That's a step, right? And this team, if you're not going to win it this year, you got to take a step where you have something to feel better about. I feel like that would do much more for me than beating the Mavs in the playoffs.
I'm proud of you. That means you've grown, because the petty answer would be beating the Mavs, because the Mavs are, there's the whole Luka thing, the Luka book thing. There's the whole Game 7 worst loss that the Suns have ever suffered in a playoff series. But you're right. It is the Nuggets, because that is at least something you can point to as like, yes, this was our first year together. We didn't get to the title. We didn't get where we wanted to go, but we at least took the first positive step to get there, and this is something we can build on. So I'm proud of you.
Gerald, the petty thing would be for me to say, let's beat them both, because get stuffed, Jokic, get stuffed, Luka. That would be the petty thing.
But you're
I'm
never
going to
say that.
No.
Right.
I wasn't even thinking about it from a petty standpoint, which I do agree there is a level of pettiness to it. But in my mind, I immediately went, exercise some demons.
Yeah.
Because there's clearly some hangover mentally with the Mavs and from a playoff perspective. And I would love for them to be able to wash that out.
I get it, but nobody from that team except Booker is still here.
Okay, but
Like,
he's kind of an important piece to the puzzle.
He
And if
is.
he has any sort of residual, lingering thoughts or feelings about it, that's got to go.
but that's the thing is like that beating the Mavs in a first or second round playoff series this year and then not winning the title, like that's not going to exercise any demons. I don't think. Like that trauma is always going to be there because that was the best season the Suns have ever had. That was the best season Devin Booker's ever had. That was his best individual season.
It's coming
Like,
off the finals run,
yeah.
so you thought, oh, maybe this is.
I don't think nothing's getting that one back except for winning a title at this point.
Okay, fair. But also, you do realize if we sweep the Nuggets again, Suns in 4 comes right back with a vengeance, and y'all hate that.
I'm okay with that because you're beating the defending. Look, if you beat the Mavs, everybody says, well, the Mavs were a flawed team. They weren't really gonna
fair.
win it. There is nothing you can say outside of Jokic being injured and not playing in that series that anybody could say to take away that that's an impressive playoff victory for you as a team and sweeping them in the process. It would be 100% that sweep.
All right, fine. I'll give you that one. Whatever.
Fine.
Fine.
But let's
You
not get ahead of
win.
ourselves. I'd just like to get in the
Fine.
playoffs.
You win again. Hopefully, I can win one time too.
Sorry,
Which is
Spinelli.
why I've been playing the Arizona Lottery a lot more. I mean,
Oh,
it's
look
been a
at
lot of
that.
fun. More specifically, the Arizona Lottery's new ticket and promotion called Arizona Adventures. So there are 3 ways that you can play and win big with Arizona Adventures. So you can play Arizona Adventure Lottery tickets featuring 3 iconic landscapes, Picacho Peak, Monument Valley, and Camelback Mountain. They're like the most beautiful scratchers I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Like, they're super cool. And they have prizes up to $50,000. You can also check in at geolocated adventures at 10 destinations across the state from Flagstaff to Yuma. This kind of gets you get rewards for basically getting out and checking out the beautiful state of Arizona. So you go to azadventures.com for the details and directions on how to check in at destination coordinates on the website. But basically, you can just go on one of your favorite hikes and you can check the website to make sure it's a part of Arizona Adventures. You check in, you get entered to win cash and Arizona travel prizes. Like, it's that easy. So you get to do two birds, one stone.
Nice.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about your wedding was you gave everybody a scratcher
I did.
from the
Oh, that's
Arizona Lottery.
fun.
I did.
Oh, yeah, you weren't there. I forgot.
I wasn't. I missed
Mac
out.
stole your scratcher, by the way. And
course
I'm not
he did.
lying. Mac
I believe
stole,
that.
Mac
I
stole
believe
your
that.
scratcher.
Mhm.
So, but I loved it because I was like, oh, maybe I'll win all the money back for the gift that apparently I never got to you guys so that I could buy it again. I want
There
your
you go.
$1 back at least.
There you go.
I would
Hey, a win
love
is
to
a
know
win.
where that
I,
envelope went.
I would like to know too.
Aw.
If somebody has a nice
Like,
gift card now.
What random box did you put it in?
It's gonna fall out of some decor piece they have at that place someday, and people are gonna be like, "Who are Gerald and Amy, and why is there money here?"
This man probably threw it in the trash bin.
No,
and
he
thought
probably
it was
did.
it was like a box with your initials on it that was near the phone thing that you could leave a message.
Mhm.
I don't know.
It was
what is.
GB for garbage bin.
Not your
Finally.
Bourget, no.
Lord have
Damn.
mercy.
Well, you know what, Gerald? Now that you're married,
Wait,
you-
hold on. I'm not done
Oh,
yet.
wait, I thought you were done.
You can also enter tickets online for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes. The Arizona Lottery is not just about playing games and winning prizes. It's also about giving back to the state and its communities. Visit azadventure.com for more information on how you can take an adventure for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes. Okay, now you can go.
Oh, I was gonna say, you got any more?
No, you're good.
Gerald, now that you're married, you know what's next, right?
What's next?
I mean, there's a logical next step. You guys have to open
Honeymoon.
a checking account together.
Oh, we already have that.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? If you want to open a second one, more
Oh.
savings.
You could have
know,
multiple.
Mhm.
I got something for you,
What's that?
and you can count it as my gift since you don't have one.
Is it a deposit?
It's $200
Oh.
from our friends over at Desert Financial Credit Union. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest and most trusted credit union. You don't want an untrusted credit union or a shady bank. You want the most trusted. They're dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. And maybe that $200 can help Lindsay get rid of her cough.
I'm trying, guys. I'm sorry.
She needs more than
The
that.
Desert Financial team are financial experts who are committed to their members and the community, offering financial solutions tailored to helping real people achieve their financial goals and dreams. Look to Desert Financial for checking and savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. I don't know what else there is financially, but there is more that you can get there. So join a credit union that is committed to giving back to the community and sharing success with members. When you open a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Get started today visiting desertfinancial.com/200.
All right, we got 2 super chats here. One from Kev. Kev said Lindsay's beanie is hiding Isaiah Thomas's minutes,
Damn.
as well as Thad Young's minutes.
There's not much
Charles
space
as
up
well.
there. That's rough.
It's just a lot of secrets and a lot of minutes that I'm hiding in these beanies,
That,
you know?
that beanie is so big you could hide actual Isaiah Thomas. On
Somebody did comment that in the chat. We got to give him credit.
5
Poor
of them.
IT.
Damn.
Hey, but he'd be your biggest cheerleader. On
He
it,
would be.
So.
Somebody also said it looked like the top of a baby bottle.
It does.
And now I can't
From the
see
side, it definitely looks
So
like
I'm
that
gonna-
from the
I'm gonna
side.
stretch it out.
Oh.
I'm gonna
That
stretch it
didn't
out.
help.
There you go. It's a little less. I
Now
don't
it
know.
looks funny.
That looks like you're wearing an oven mitt.
Honestly, I get it, but I still love it.
I get it.
Y'all are not wrong, but I still love it. Travis said, okay, LOL, take Mavs out and
In the play-in, and then 4-0 the Nugs.
yeah, so that's how we get both of them.
This fan base cannot handle a Mavs play-in game.
Oh, a one game against
Mm-mm.
no.
Well,
no.
here's the thing.
That'd be fun, but no.
The Mavs aren't really fully flirting with the play-in like we are. Just
Generally.
saying. You want to take a peek at the Western Conference standings here?
I can't handle the play-in at all.
I don't think
care
I
who
can
they're playing.
either.
Please no.
Yeah, we
This
might need
is not going to be great. But the Mavs are sitting in 5th right now, so
They are.
they're kind of chilling for the moment.
Mhm.
You got the Pelicans in 6th, and then the Suns 7th. So the Suns and the Kings, on my end of things, tied for 7th.
No.
As of
no,
right now?
They gained
the,
a half
the
game
Suns are half a game ahead of the Kings right now.
Well, then why does mine say that?
because you
Oh,
probably
mine-
didn't refresh.
I probably didn't.
Refresh is a hell of a tool.
No, because they both say 7, but then it does say that the Suns are 8.5 games back and the Kings are 9. I
Yeah.
don't know why mine is glitching out like that.
Yeah, so the Suns are, I mean, they're a game and a half back of the Mavs, but the Mavs have won 7 straight, 9 of their last 10. They've been on a little tear here.
They own
Their
the
competition,
tiebreaker, too.
yeah, they do own the head-to-head tiebreaker with the Suns, which is tough, which means Suns would have to finish with more wins, which, that's tough. They're 2 back in the loss column from Dallas, so I don't see that one really happening. Pelicans is the one that you would want to leapfrog into that top 6, and you would want to win the next matchup on Sunday to be able to do that.
I still think there's an odd chance that those 2 against the Clippers have meaning here too, beyond just staying out of the play-in, but being closer to the Clippers here too. I know it's 2.5 or what is it?
3.5.
3.5. So I don't know.
And you're
just
4
an
back in
odd
the loss
feeling.
column.
So it'd be tough, but yeah, I think
They need to spiral.
basically it's New Orleans is
Mhm.
what you're looking at here, and
Yep.
and fighting off the Kings. But guess what? You got one in hand against both of them. So
Mhm.
beat
Gotta
the
win
Kings,
'em.
beat the Pelicans, and then take care of your business a couple other places, and you're probably in the discussion.
We're kind of approaching bubble Suns territory where just win all the games and
Yeah.
give yourself the best chance possible,
Yes.
because you would need one of these 3 ahead of you to spiral. And even like the Clippers, we had been talking about how they were struggling. They've won 3 straight since then. So it's like, what are you going to do?
I don't like you pointing to the bubble Suns because we remember that 8-0
didn't
run
work.
led to nothing.
Mm.
It
Thanks,
led to
Jim.
a final. Oh, well,
no,
yeah.
in that
playoff,
situation,
yeah.
they didn't make it in because of Karis LeVert.
Karis LeVert.
Yeah, thanks.
He was cooking and he pulled up for that jumper and bricked it instead of going to the hole.
Thanks,
That was
Karis.
tough.
I would just like to let the record show that I did refresh it, but I had to refresh it twice for it to actually work.
Mm.
So shout out
So-
to this website.
User error.
I refreshed it and it still showed them both in 7th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it had the Suns below the Kings, and then I refreshed it a second time and then it swapped the 2 of them.
Breaking news, just in case you were
Breaking
all
news.
concerned.
The internet works.
Now it does. Don't jinx it, Gerald. If you
Sorry.
learn nothing.
My bad.
It's all right. We're almost to the end. We got
No,
all
we
the
are.
ads
We
in.
are at the end. Thank you all for joining us once again. If you are here on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. If you're listening wherever you get your podcast, rate, review, and subscribe. We appreciate it, and it helps us out a lot. It's been fun. I'm glad that we got some sexy sex tonight. I'm glad that we got to enjoy this win, even if it was from a reserved state of mind. It's still enjoyable to get some sexy sax instead of our doom and gloom music that always plays after the losses. But we'll be back tomorrow with a show for you guys at 3 p.m. So plan to come hang out with us. We got a couple fun things in store for you for that show. And then, of course, the rest of the week we'll be here for all the games, pre and post game show. So until we see you guys tomorrow, you can give the show a follow on social at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget, and you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
And remember, take your seat, lower the bar, strap in, and keep your hands inside the cart. Because the solar coaster is still riding along, and you don't want to lose a limb. Ahoy, hoy!
Uh-oh.
We all silly like the mayor.